Welcome, all my betting brothers and sisters, to the OddsJam YouTube channel. I am Greg S., and I am so excited to be back with you. Okay, so the NFL Week 9 has officially gotten underway. Thursday Night Football finished up with the Jets and the Colts just thumping away at the Jets there. But what a Week 8 it was. It was sort of the week of the backups. I think a lot of people expected Mike White to come back down to earth against the Colts after that shellacking of the Bengals, but we'll never know. I mean, he was looking pretty good. Another first quarter touchdown for the Jets that they hadn't had all season until last week under the backup Mike White. And then he ends up getting injured. I don't know that it would have made a difference. Maybe it would have been a more interesting game because that game was not as close as the score suggested. The Colts easily covered. Their line closed around -10, -10.5, and they won by 15 on the back mostly of their running game. So a fun game if you were a Colts fan. Other than that, maybe not one of the greatest quality Thursday Night Football games we've ever seen. And last week, like I said, it was very interesting. There's that Jets score shocking the Bengals there. Titans beating the Colts last week. The Colts blew that 14-0 early lead. Rams and Texans, nobody was surprised by that. Steelers, Browns, Ben owns the Browns. No big surprise there. Hey, look at this, the Eagles. I did tell my best friend that even if the Eagles did win, I would still refer to them on the video as my woeful Eagles because it was only the Lions, but I'm not going to do that because it was a blowout. They did what they should do, and they rolled a terrible team. Does it mean anything? Absolutely not. I already bet the Chargers this week. When I got them, it was -3. It's all the way down to -1.5, -2 in some places. I don't know why sharp bettors keep betting the Eagles. It must not be a group that watches them very often because I really don't think they have much of a chance against the Chargers. 49ers, Bears, Panthers, Falcons, Dolphins, Bills. Yeah, no big surprise there. This was a bit of a surprise. I thought the Chargers were going to take care of business against the Patriots. I don't know what's really going on with them, but don't worry, it's going to be a get-right game against the Eagles this week. Jags, Seahawks, Washington football team, Broncos, talk about a lack of offense there. Bucks, Saints, another stunner. It was sort of the week of the backups where we had guys like Trevor Siemian taking care of big teams. Cooper Rush down here taking care of the Vikings, although the Vikings kind of stink. And of course, the aforementioned Mike White. Okay, but we are on to Week 9 action. Now, usually, what I like to do in this space is come up with a fun parlay for you guys. That if you have a free bet sitting around or a little bit of extra cash in your bankroll because you've been doing all of these using all of these betting tools that OddsJam has to offer, the arbitrage and the positive EV in particular. Maybe you have a little bit of extra bankroll that you can throw at something fun that most likely won't hit, but if it does, it's a nice return. And I usually do that in the form of an underdog parlay, but boy, oh boy, and this slate, I can't find a single underdog that I really like, let alone 3 or 4 of them. Ravens, Vikings. The Vikings, I said, stink in today's NFL with the zaniness that we've seen play out over, about the first half of the season here. The Vikings might come in and beat the Ravens. I highly doubt that, but watching the Vikings stink it up against the Cowboys and you think, nope, there's no chance, they could come in and win outright. But the Ravens are coming off of their bye, rested, coming off that embarrassing loss to the Bengals. I think they probably take care of business against the Vikings. Panthers, New England. The Panthers. Bengals, Browns is a little bit hard to call, but I think the Bengals are probably in a pretty good bounce back spot here against the Browns that are sort of depleted, dealing with a lot of that OBJ drama. Still a lot of injuries on that team. Cowboys, Broncos, don't want any part of the Broncos there, and it just goes on and on. None of these underdogs, the Dolphins, Texans, who knows who's going to win that and who cares? Could the Texans win? Yeah, maybe. Am I going to put money on them? Absolutely not. Saints, Falcons, the Falcons, Saints and their defense should be able to take care of business there, and it just goes on and on. Like I said here, this line keeps moving towards the Eagles. You can see here even on the money line bets here on the OddsJam line shopping. Not a big difference between the underdog and the favorite, but boy, oh boy, I love my Eagles, and if they win, fantastic, but I can't back them in that spot. Niners, Cardinals, this is a pretty close game too. They played each other very close last time. You got Garoppolo healthy. Kyler Murray might not be. George Kittle is coming back for the Niners. Who knows what's going to happen there? Could the Niners win? Sure, but that's maybe the only underdog I would think of putting money on as far as the Cardinals go, because they could also take that game, particularly if Murray is good to go. So I don't have a fun parlay. I don't have a teaser for you either because the point spreads are all over the place. I think the Bengals-Browns are the only place that it would make sense for a teaser as we watch this spin. Because they were at 2.5, and yeah, they still are. Other than that, there really is no other great spots for teasers. You can put together some bad teasers, which I actually did. I had a $5 free bet, and what else was I going to do with that? So I came up with a 5-team teaser. I was teasing the Bills down from 14.5 and these types of things, but it's not a very smart play to make. So we got to have some fun, though. Like I say, every week, if you want to be working on your arbitrage, if you really want to be working on your plus EV bets, there are a ton of great videos to check out on the OddsJam YouTube channel. Make sure you're checking out Randall, Alex, Matt, and a ton of other great creators. They're going to take you through exactly how to do the plus EV and choose some great bets. Matt's Thursday Night Football, both of his plus EV bets hit. So make sure you're checking that stuff out. I don't want to redo something that is already being done so very well. So we are going to have a fun player prop parlay. Now, I love betting player props. The only place I have a free bet this week is actually on BetMGM. I have a random $10 free bet. So let's put together something fun here that, I think could hit. This isn't going to be the biggest long shot in the world. But it's also a 3-leg player prop, which again, the more legs you have, just one thing doesn't come through and you are sunk. I do like doing these. I hit these every now and again, 2 to 3-leg player props. I also lose them. I had a 3-prop, a nice one going last week, a 3-leg player prop parlay, but Daniel Jones couldn't get like 249 yards against one of the worst pass defenses in the league in the Chiefs, and it didn't hit. So the other 2 legs did. So that's the risk that you take, but it's still fun, and again, gives you some skin in games that you might not otherwise have. All right, so we're going to look at my Eagles and the Chargers here first. And the one I want to pick here, I was thinking about the rushing yards, Jalen Hurts over the 49.5. He has hit that several times last week against a bad Lions run defense. He had 70 yards. He didn't pass much, and the Eagles just sort of ran all over them. I think the Chargers are going to put more offensive pressure on the Eagles, so they might not be able to run quite as effectively or as often as they'd like, and that might actually open up that running prop here because they'll be dropping back to pass, trying to keep up with the points the Chargers will likely be putting up, and he might take off a little bit more here. So I do like that, but that's not what I'm going to go with. I am going to go right up here with the Austin Ekeler over 40.5 receiving yards. He has gone over this 5 times so far this season. The Eagles gave up 49 combined receiving yards to the Raiders running back, 39 to Josh Jacobs alone, and Josh Jacobs isn't really known as a receiving back. Kenyon Drake got in on that a little bit as well. And Leonard Fournette had 46 receiving yards against him. Once again, backs that aren't exactly known for their receiving chops, still putting up yards against the Eagles. Ekeler is a focal point of the Chargers offense. He should be healthy. And they do like to pass to him. So again, I like the 40.5 there. All right, so the next thing that we're going to go with here is going to be in the Raiders game. The Raiders embroiled right now in a lot of bad press, but the result of that is they released one of their wide receivers in Henry Ruggs. We're not going to get into that tragedy that occurred with him, but as we pull up the game here and we go into the player props, we are going to take a look at the receivers here because they are down a receiver. There figures to be a bump in usage for both Bryan Edwards and Hunter Renfrow. Right now, Renfrow's over is 55.5 receiving yards, and that is going to be the second leg of our fun player prop parlay. He's gone over this 5 times so far this season as well. Without Ruggs, Bryan Edwards isn't really the same speedster, so while he might get a bump in targets, they're not going to be able to stretch the field quite the way that they were previously, and so some of those checkdowns, intermediate routes that Hunter Renfrow is known to run might be more open. He's had upwards of 9 targets in games before. So we're going to hope a little bit of volume and a little bit of dink and dunk is going to help him get over this receiving total for us. And the Giants gave up 63 yards to Mecole Hardman last week against the Chiefs when they were playing the Cowboys. They gave up 60 yards to Cooper. So this is not an astronomical number, very much in play, I think, as well. All right, and the last one that we are going to go with, the third leg, we're going to go to that Browns-Bengals game here, and we are going to go over to our good friend Ja'Marr Chase. His over right now, this is just recent, I was waiting for this to pop up, is at 73.5 yards. Now he's gone over this as well 5 times this season, so there's a theme here, 5 out of 8, I'll take them. So we're going to plug in his over. He only had 32 yards last week, so I'm thinking maybe this is going to be a bounce back game for him. He's not going to like that total. Neither will Joe Burrow. And he did have 9 targets, so it's not like he was phased out of the game plan or being ignored. He just was only able to secure about 3 of those for 32. The pass defense for the Browns is not anything that is sterling or special. And Deante Johnson for the Steelers last week, he had 98 yards against them. AJ Green had 79. And Christian Kirk had 75, and if they had trouble stopping Kirk's speed, you got to think that they're going to struggle with Chase's speed. And even Carlos Sutton for the Broncos put up 68 against this Browns secondary. So I think this is a good bet. Ja'Marr Chase overs are usually a good one. So are Deebo Samuel's, but they're not up right now. And Cooper Kupp have been money this year as well. I think the books have sort of caught on to Cooper Kupp. Not so sure that they have quite caught up to the Deebo Samuel overs. Haven't seen what they are for this week yet, as I said. And the Chase, under 75 right there. That could be 1 catch for him, or 1 or 2 catches, and he's over that. So if we have those 3 legs in our parlay bet slip over here, we can see that we are at plus 556 odds. So that's pretty good for our free bet. So we'll go ahead and we'll use our little $10 free bet here. It'll pay out $56.73. Not too bad. Free money if it hits. Bang. We're going to place it and it'll process the bet and eventually there it goes. All right, very nice. So that is our fun player prop. We're going to prop it up for week 9 in the NFL. If you have any fun player props that you're looking at, please leave them in the comments below. Any other sort of parlays, if you have any underdogs that you think are going to hit, please let us know about that in the comments before the game start, before not after, and then we can all come back and take a look and see how we did. Okay, so if you did like today's video, make sure you show some of that plus EV love and click that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so we can help you hit more of those bets. And don't forget to crush that notification bell so that you never miss a gem that the jam will be dropping. And until next time, may all your odds be fair.